Welcome aboard, join the crew. Let's set sail for the horizon blue. We'll hear pirate songs and pirate tales as the ocean breeze fills our sails. Singing a yo-ho and away to sea. It's a pirate's life for me to sea with Pirate Bonnie. Ahoy! Welcome, me hearties. I'm Bonnie, Pirate Bonnie, and I hereby officially welcome you to the crew. Oh, let's do a salute. Crew salute. Hand like this and you say, "Aye, aye, Captain Bonnie." Like pirates of old, I can feel the wind in the sails and smell adventure in the salty air. We have a map and a long voyage ahead, so settle aboard the good ship Adventure. On our voyage, we will find treasure. But this is no ordinary treasure, because this is no ordinary voyage, and I am certainly no ordinary pirate. Our treasure will be the greatest treasure of all. Stories. True stories. True pirate stories. No one knows where she came from. No one knows her childhood name. She was just a girl, an ordinary girl living in China a long time ago. Just an ordinary girl. There were lots of ordinary children, people and families living by the sea in China. Some lived on boats that made up floating villages all along the coast of China. This ordinary girl came from one of these ordinary villages. But one day, when this ordinary girl had become an ordinary grown-up villager, minding her ordinary business in her ordinary village, she and some other villagers were kidnapped by pirates. Now, this ordinary woman did not take very well to being kidnapped, and she fought the pirates, and she demanded they take her to their captain. The fearsome pirate Captain Cheng was impressed, very impressed with how tough and brave this ordinary woman was, and he asked her to be his wife. He offered her jewels and fine silks if she would agree to marry him. The ordinary woman who was, we now know, extraordinarily tough and brave, thought for a moment. She looked at the pirates. She looked out to sea. She wondered what to do and who she would be. And she said, "Half. That's what's due. Half of all treasure and joint charge of the crew." Once again, the infamous pirate Cheng was impressed, very impressed by this extraordinary woman, and he agreed. And she became Cheng Isao, which means wife of Cheng. They had equal shares and equal power. He had already gathered more than one boat, and he had dreams of becoming a king and having a whole fleet of ships. Together, Pirate Cheng and Cheng Isao built up their fleet of ships. Together, they became very powerful, in charge of hundreds of pirate ships. Until one day, there was a great storm, and Pirate Cheng was washed over the side of the ship where he drowned. With no leader of their fleet, the pirates gathered to decide what to do. Who will be their next leader? One of the other pirates? There were lots of brave pirates and lots of skilled sailors amongst the fleet, but who could lead all of their ships all at once, as fearsome as Pirate Cheng had once done? Whilst the pirates were discussing who would be best, Cheng Yisao slipped away. When she reappeared, she was dressed in beautiful silk robes, wearing her dead husband's war helmet and holding a sword. The pirate stopped and stared. She strode to the higher deck of the ship and she looked down upon the pirates. There was a pause. She thought for a moment. She looked at the pirates. She looked out to sea. She wondered what to do and who she would be. And she said, "Look at me. I am your leader." And so she was. And the pirates looked at her and said, "Yes, Mistress Cheng." And she set about finding ways to make the fleet even bigger, but more importantly, make it stronger and more organized. Mistress Cheng wrote a code of conduct for the pirates. "Want to join my crew? Agree to the rules or your life you will lose." She had lots of rules and lots of harsh and sometimes very gory punishments for those who broke them. If you broke a rule, you might have your ears chopped off or be thrown overboard. It was strict and it was gruesome, but all of the pirates agreed. They agreed because in return for following those rules, they would get a fair share of all of the treasure. And if one of them was hurt or ill, they'd still get a fair share of the treasure while they recovered. And Mistress Cheng, she knew how to find treasure. Every fisherman and salt trader all along the coast of China paid Mistress Cheng's pirates to make sure they could fish and trade safely in peace. And with the treasures stolen from raids on wealthy villages, Mistress Cheng and the pirates' fortune grew and grew and grew. And more pirates wanted to join. So the fleet of pirate ships grew and grew and grew. And Mistress Cheng's importance grew and grew and grew. Until eventually, Mistress Cheng and her League of Pirates were more powerful than the rest of China. More powerful than the whole of the Chinese government. They tried to stop her and sent government ships to attack her ships. But the pirates overwhelmed the government forces and they had no choice but to run away. "Stop! Pirates! Stop, we say!" "Oh no, there's too many of them! Run away, run away!" The Chinese government asked for help and the British sent ships. But Mistress Cheng's fleet saw them off no problem. "Stop! Pirates! Stop, we say!" "Oh no, there's too many of them! Just run away, run away!" The Chinese government asked for help and the Portuguese sent ships. But Mistress Cheng's fleet sent them packing. "Stop! Pirates! Stop, we say!" "Oh no, there's too many of them! Run away! Run away!" The Chinese government were now desperate and scared of Mistress Cheng and her huge league of pirates who continued to terrorize the coast and the villages. The government decided to have one last go at stopping her. They got word that Mistress Cheng and some of the pirate fleet were sheltering in a cove, repairing their ships in between pirate raids. The cove only had a narrow entrance in between hills, so the pirates couldn't see out to sea and didn't notice the government ships approaching. The government sent all of their ships, their best ships, to trap Mistress Cheng in that cove. They blocked the entrance with hundreds of ships, and there was no way out for the pirates. The government started to attack with fire ships. Mistress Cheng and the pirates were pushed right back next to shore. There was no way out back to sea. They were stuck, surrounded. It was hopeless. Just as they were starting to panic, help appeared on the horizon. The rest of the pirate fleet, flying Mistress Cheng's red flag, they were coming to the rescue. But before they could join the battle, something strange happened. the wind changed, and a huge gust of wind blew all of the government ships out of the entrance of the cave, out to sea, out of the pirates' way, and Mistress Cheng sailed away happily to freedom, unharmed. You cannot stop me. I am Mistress Cheng. I rule the wind and the sea. After that, the pirate teams doubled the amount they charged the fishermen and salt traders and doubled their raids on wealthy villages. Mistress Cheng was more powerful than ever, more powerful than a princess, more powerful than a queen. She was like an empress. But she was getting old. Had enough of life at sea. Will retire, take a rest, drink some tea. The government was terrified of Empress Cheng by this point, so she knew that they would do whatever she wanted. But how could a pirate retire? What would happen to all of her crews? She needed to negotiate a peace settlement for herself and her thousands of loyal pirates. She decided to go straight to the top. Mistress Cheng, Pirate Empress, sent a messenger to tell the head of the Chinese government she was coming to meet them. They were scared. They were scared of this ruthless pirate who ruled her fleet and gave out gruesome punishments. She's coming here? Oh no! Let's hide from this terrible foe. Or if we must face her, I'm bringing a sword. Oh yes, sir. They awaited her arrival. The leaders of the government made sure they were armed and had plenty of guards who had plenty of swords. And they waited, trembling with fear for the Pirate Empress to arrive. The Pirate Empress looked at her pirates. She looked out to sea. She wondered what to do and who she would be. And she put down her sword. She took off her shoes, she removed her war helmet, and she strode into the government palace full of guards armed with swords. She knew they were more scared of her than she was of them, and she said, I call off my fleet. All pirating will cease. If you agree to my terms, we can have peace. The heads of the government, trembling with fear, knew they had to do whatever she asked. Mistress Cheng, in her bare feet and with no sword and no guards, also knew they had to do whatever she said. And so she said, I keep all riches and treasure. Yes, of course, Empress, it would be our pleasure. You find new jobs for my crews. Yes, of course, Empress, as you choose. I keep my best boat. Yes, of course, Empress. We cannot argue with this cutthroat. And so it went on until the government agreed to everything Mistress Cheng asked for. And she retired, keeping all of her treasure, making sure her loyal crews had new jobs and enough money. The Pirate Empress stuck to her word and lived peacefully until she grew old. That ordinary girl who looked out to sea and wondered what to do and who she would be, ended up with the most extraordinary life. The most successful pirate of all time! Extraordinary! And why, by the salt of my 7 seas, isn't she more famous? If, like me, you would like to find more treasure and hear more stories, then maybe you'll have to be on my crew again next time. Thank you for joining me aboard, and I do hope we sail again together someday.
Mistress Cheng wrote a pirate's code, and in return had loyalty bestowed. Mistress Cheng became an empress, powerful and rich with every success. Singing a yo-ho and away to sea, it's a pirate's life